Hello there, and welcome into another episode of the OUA Basketball Show. My name is Griffin Porter. Thank you all so much for tuning in again this week. We got a great interview, but first, we've got to get straight into the crazy weekend that was last weekend. No time for pleasantries. Let's get right to it. We'll start on the men's side where we had some really fun games. Mateo Zagar hit a free throw with barely any time left on the clock to give the Western Mustangs a 71-70 win over U of T as the Blues continue to prove that they can hang with some of the best in the OUA. Meanwhile, Nipissing pulled off a nice upset as they took down Lakehead 86-84 despite 31 points and 11 rebounds from friend of the show Harold Santa Cruz. Jean-René Brutus Escalona had 18 off the bench for the Lakers in that win. Algoma won again, another win for the Thunderbirds as they beat Ontario Tech 88-83 off the back of another great game from Kal-El Alejo. He had 24 and Logan Whitmell added 23 for Algoma. Meanwhile, the TMU Bold pick up a big couple of wins over Windsor and Western as the Mustangs continue to struggle a little bit in the second half here. They're still dealing with some injuries. And the Queens Gales pick up a big upset over the Brock Badgers. Gales starting to heat up here in the second half as they take down one of the best in the OUA in Brock. Moving over to the women's side now, we had one of the games of the year as Brock and Queens went head-to-head. The back-to-back MVP, Madeline Weinert, gave it absolutely everything she had. She put up 29 points and 21 rebounds, but it just wasn't quite enough to knock off the mighty Gales, who got an 11-point, 14-rebound double-double from Kiara Letlow to go along with 17 points from Katrina Renan. Elsewhere around the league, Carleton and York played a fun one as Jacqueline Urban's 15 points and 14 rebounds helped the Ravens beat the Lions 64-58. But the Lions bounced back the next night with an overtime win over the GGs, despite a 33-point explosion from Allie McCarthy, who's been doing that all season long. Ella Okubasu, who's been having a great season up at York, put up 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in that one. A great game from her to help the Lions pick up another good win. And one last great game that we had on the women's side between the Bold and the Mustang. You had 3 of their starters score 20 or more points, and Western takes home the 90-88 win. Sydney Cowan leads the way for the Stangs with 22 points, but right there with her with 20 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds, we in the business call that a triple-double, was my guest today, Renée Armstrong. My guest today is a two-time OUA All-Star. She is all over the leaderboards in tons of different categories. She is having a fantastic season for the Western Mustangs. Renée Armstrong. Renée, thank you so much for coming on the OUA Basketball Show.
Thanks for having me and for that fun intro.
Oh, well, I like to up the guests a little bit. Um, why don't we start with the team and then we'll get into your personal season and career here a little bit. You guys had sort of a back and forth start, but you've really found a groove lately. You've won your last 4. Ever since you came back from the winter break, the team's been firing on all cylinders. Has something changed noticeably for you guys on the inside in the past few weeks?
Yeah, so I definitely say, like you mentioned, I think the first part of our season we had a lot of close games. We've dropped a couple of close ones as well. But we're on a 4 game win streak, like you said, and I think a big part of that is we made some adjustments on the defensive end that have definitely helped push us in the right direction. And I think offensively we've been playing really well all season and really high producing, but on the defensive end there was a few things that we needed to adjust and change, and I think the girls have done a really good job adjusting to that change and rising to that occasion and to some of the challenges that the coaches have been throwing at us the last couple of weeks.
That's fantastic. I want to get into the defensive end for sure, but we'll get to that, okay? I can't go out of order. I've got a very specific order. Um,
Okay.
your most recent win on that 4 game win streak, we talked about a massive one, a clutch fourth quarter victory against the TMU Bold. We all
Mm.
know the caliber that TMU brings to the table. Do wins like that have a noticeable effect on a team's confidence going forward, or is everyone sort of the same?
Well, I think the fun thing about the OUA this year is that I think it's wide open in terms of opportunities for anybody to play, and anybody in our league can play with anybody, I think. So, getting a win against a top 5 team in the country is always something to be proud of and to definitely have excitement around. But I mean, they're such a talented team, but there's also just so much talent in the OUA that anyone means a lot for us, especially in this coming off the trend. But I mean, taking a team off of a team that's that good defensively and being able to score that much was definitely really fun. The atmosphere in that gym that day was something else. We had our band in there. We had some junior players and girls who've come out to some of the Western camps out there as well. So it was just all around such a fun day to be a part of.
That's fantastic. Big home court advantage out there in London. You talked there about how every win is so important. We've only got 5 games left in the regular season now. It comes down to the point where like every single possession is getting so important these days. You're a player who has a ball in her hands a ton. You're one of the best ball handling guards in the entire province, and you're a veteran at this point. But does that end of season pressure, does that still like affect you in the game as you're approaching every possession? Do you feel that as we get into February here?
Yeah, I think end of the stretch is definitely a different atmosphere that kind of comes around games and comes around practices as well. Just that added intensity and knowing that every game, every possession can have playoff implications. But we've been doing a lot of work with a mental performance coach, and I think that's been really helpful for me just in terms of staying present and in the moment and not worrying about 5 plays down the road or what happened the last play, and just making sure that you're staying present and able to perform every possession like it's the one that matters because it's the only one that you can control. So yeah, there's definitely a little bit of added pressure, but I think once I'm on the court, I just try to lock into what we're doing and lock into the game plan. And I mean, things aren't going to go your way 100% of the time. But I think understanding that and being able to move past those mistakes is also super important.
Yeah, that's a great attitude. I think things go your way more often than they don't, but I guess not 100% of the time. All right,
Box
let's
scores
talk.
don't always show that, but
The standings are. Um, Let's talk about you individually a bit here. I want to talk about well, I guess maybe not you individually, but the whole Armstrong family. You guys have a long and proud tradition in youth sports basketball. What was it like growing up with so many great players?
I mean, it's been awesome. I talk about it all the time, but I love bragging about my family and how awesome they are. But my parents actually met playing basketball. My mom played on the national team in Trinidad and Tobago. My dad played at Western here, and so did his brother. And now myself and my cousin Imran are both here as well. So it's a pretty cool tradition. It's always a lot of competition whenever all the family's back in town. But yeah, I think just growing up around that kind of mentality and that competitiveness is definitely rubbed off on me and rubbed off on my love of the game. So yeah, I love getting on the court and playing with my cousins and my brothers and just family. But they've definitely been pushing me to be better, and they're always sending me texts after games telling me all the things that I'm doing well, but definitely pointing out the things that I could have done better. So they keep me humble, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm glad they're also pointing out the things that you're doing well. I thought you were just going to say the things that you're doing wrong. Um,
No, it's a good balance. It's a good balance.
Yeah. Okay, you mentioned your dad, Kevin, and your cousin Imran. That was who I was going to touch on next. They've both played at Western. Did that impact your decision on where to go when your time at Guelph came to an end, or is it more just like you're from London, Western's the hometown team? Was it a combination sort of all of it?
Well, I actually didn't know I was going to be playing this year until like late in the summer.
Oh,
I thought my OUA career was going to be done at Guelph. And it wasn't until I got into contact with Nate like late summer that I thought I might be helping out with the team. But I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to play, and that wasn't ever a goal necessarily. But I think things just worked out really well, and I got the opportunity to play my last year here. And I think, uh, I mean, one of the reasons why I came back home is to be close to family. So that and having more family out to games has been awesome, and I think definitely helps me in my decision of wanting to come back and get back on the court.
that's great. I didn't realize it was such a last minute call. Well, it seems like it went pretty well for, I'm sure the Mustangs must be happy, and it seems like you're happy as well.
I am.
Um, Western has sort of had this tradition the last few years of bringing in like really high profile 1 year players. It was McKeely Shantz 2 years ago. It was Jenna Button last year, and now it's you this season. What's it like being dropped into a new locker room and a new program when you're already such an established player in the league? Like everyone who follows basketball already knows about Renee Armstrong. So now you've got to come in and meet a whole new team and establish yourself again. What's that like?
Yes, I think you touched on it already. I think Western, as a university, has so many incredible grad programs that definitely draw people here outside of the basketball things, and that's what drew me to Western in the first place. I'm at Teachers College there right now,
Oh,
so
congratulations.
I think that's grad program. Thank you. But I think having those programs and again knowing that past players have been able to come in here and gel with the team and that Nate's very welcoming of new play styles and integrating those and making sure that his players are in good positions for themselves, it's always really really nice to come into, and not everybody gets the chance to do that. But also, I'm really good friends with McKeely, so I definitely got a chance to conference with her a little bit, and she gave me the lowdown of what it's like transferring into a new team and kind of the ups and downs of doing that and just trying to figure out your place in a new system because this system is very different than anything I've been used to playing in the past. But the girls and the coaching staff have been so welcoming of me that it's been such an easy transition in terms of basketball and school because they always say school first. So that's always helpful too.
That's fantastic. What are some things that are different from the way Western plays that than the way Guelph plays?
I have never played on a team that plays this high pace,
Okay.
especially like you mentioned, having the ball in my hands a lot. Just making sure that I'm trying to be more aggressive than I have been maybe in years past. And the pace of the game is just so much quicker than anything that I've been used to. And I think that shows up in my turnovers a little bit, but it's also nice to be able to play a little bit more free on the offensive end and just knowing that coaches and teammates want you to take shots when you're open. That's definitely an adjustment that I've been trying to make and that I think I've been pretty successful in, but still kind of getting acclimated to that as well.
Uh, all right, we got to talk about your defense a little bit. I'm a huge defense nerd. I love talking to star defensive players. You lead the OUA in steals right now. Your teammate Sydney Cowan not far behind you though. You got to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Um, what's your defensive mentality? What's your approach to that end of the floor?
I think so again with this system, it's aggressive in kind of all aspects on the offensive end for sure, but definitely defensively. And I think I'm not sure if we're there right now, but we had three players in the top five of steals in the OUA not too long ago. So I know Paris and Emily are also up there as well.
Hmm.
And I think that just speaks to like the team system that we run is that like I might be getting the steal, but it's because of the other players on the floor that are actually making the offense make tough decisions. So yeah, I think just being aggressive and not worrying too much about being out of position and really just relying on my instincts and my athleticism as well as my teammates to make sure that they're putting me in a position where I can go get the ball and do that as well.
Awesome. Love it. I love defense. Big nerd.
Me too. My
That's
dad's a big
great.
defensive guy too, so I know he's loving that.
Okay, good, good. All right, you've been having another brilliant season, maybe your best one yet. You're top five in the OUA in a ton of different categories. You lead the league in assists by a mile. What would it take for you personally to call this season a success? Is it an award? Is it a Curtelli? What does that mean to you, a successful season?
So I think for me, again, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but we've had the first semester we had a couple of tough losses. So it wasn't until I started talking to Nate a little bit this past couple weeks actually, where I started to kind of see my numbers and where they were at because it didn't feel like it's been my best season, just with some of the losses that we've taken. But I think for me, I'm more focused on trying to get some wins, especially going into my last year. It'd be nice to make a long stretch in the postseason. I haven't made it past the quarterfinals since my time being at Guelph and now here, so I'm hoping to break that streak and to really get a push in the postseason.
Yeah, well, it's going to be I can't wait for the playoffs. There's so many amazing teams in Ontario
Mm.
right now, but you guys certainly have the potential to be right there with the best of them, as we saw this weekend. All right, just before I let you go, Renee, I wanted to save this one for last. I want to talk a bit about your off the court work and your leadership. You were honored last year with the Joy Bellinger Award, particularly the OUA cited your leadership in the community, your work with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do off the court and why it's so important to you to be a leader there as well as on the court?
Yeah, so it's been really nice actually moving back home and kind of getting to connect to the London community. I did do a lot of work while I was my time during Guelph, but
Hmm.
here I've been coaching like at basketball camps and clinics for pretty much as long as I can remember, like since high school. I've actually coached some of the girls that are on the team now, which is hilarious. Like Sid Cowan, she's one of my best friends, actually, little sisters. So it's just, I guess, seeing how influential like even like a 1 day summer camp can be. And I remember growing up how important it was for me to see like those role models and people in the community just willing to invest in the youth. And that's something that I've always been super passionate about. So again, coming back here, and I mentioned it a bit about our game against TMU, but some of the girls that I've coached were in that crowd, and I got to connect with them and their families after the game. And I mean, I've had some people reach out and say that they're happy that I'm able to be a role model for them, but I'm wondering if they know how much of an impact that they've had on me and how much that really pushes me to be the best version of myself. So I think, again, like women and girls in sport, I think there's a lot of new, really cool initiatives that are going around, but that's something I'm really passionate about, and I'm really happy that I get to be a role model for some younger girls going up and getting to see what they get to do, which is really, really cool.
That's amazing. That's what sports is all about, I think, right there. That's a fantastic answer.
Exactly.
Renee, thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's a busy stretch of the season right now, so I really appreciate you carving this out of your day. It was an absolute joy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Griffin. It's really nice to talk to you, and I've been loving and following the show for a while, so it's been cool to actually get to be on here for once.
Come
So thanks.
on, that's so nice. Thank you. Thanks again to Renee for making the time. That was a fantastic conversation with her. I hope you all enjoyed it. Now we got to get out of here because this is a long episode. The men's game to watch this week, I'm going to go with Laurier against Windsor. That's two great division rivals, both battling for a playoff spot right now, both around the same record. I think that'll be a really fun matchup between two teams that we don't talk about quite enough on the show. So giving them a shout out there. And the women's game, we have to go with the obvious pick. It's the undefeated Queens Gales going up against the TMU Bull. This one is going to be must-see TV. If you are in the city of Toronto, get yourself down to College Street for the Mattamy Athletic Center there. Get in the building because this is going to be one of the best games of the year. My name is Griffin Porter. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a great weekend.